Hey, it's Sean Reddy, Keller Williams Reddy Group, and if you are watching the Denver metro market like a hawk, it's probably because you are in it or plan on entering into it either as a buyer or a seller or both, or maybe investing in real estate. Stay tuned. This video is for you. These are next level, next gen type stats brought to you by our friends at First American Title. And we're going to break down what exactly is happening in a whole bunch of measures at a deep level in the Denver metro housing market. This is to end the week at August 15th, 2023. And let's get right into the data. First metric that we look at here, the odds of selling. And this is a relationship between supply and demand. By the way, if you have or have not seen these videos before, if you're selling a home, you want to see these reds and oranges. That means a hotter market. If you are, you don't want to see these blues and these greens. That's on the opposite end of the spectrum here. That means cooling in these metrics in a week over week analysis. Buying a home, it's the exact opposite. Now, if you're selling a home to buy a home, it really shouldn't matter because you're doing it in the same market. It's essentially an equity swap. Anyways, let's get into it. So first column, again, odds of selling. You can see these deep reds in March, April, and into May. That's when the odds of selling were the greatest this year at about 64 to 66, almost 67%. We have dropped down into the low 50s, 51.6% odds of selling as of this week. That's up slightly, 0.1% from the previous week. Next column here, average daily active listings. This means on any given day, how many properties to expect to see on the market in this greater Denver 7-county region. The number has been going up and up and up, almost 6,000, 5,928 as of this week. That is the high. Well, let's see, that's the highest since around Thanksgiving last year. So, yep, more listings on the market. Great if you are buying, because that obviously gives you more competition and theoretically more negotiating power too. Reason being, we're going to look at these next couple of columns that we go through. New listings. You can see where new listings have been and where they are now. We kind of peaked out the beginning part of May, beginning part of June, with over 1,300 properties hitting the market in those weeks right there. And then we've been pretty steady between 1,000 and 1,100 new listings hitting the market each week over the last 4 weeks. 1,062 last week to be exact. Back on market, you can see here there is pretty steady numbers here. These are contracts that fall out, properties end up back on the market, so those homes become available again. We'll skip over expired and withdrawn. That's just a measure of the listings that came off the market that didn't sell. And straight to the pending column, this is a biggie. This is how many properties go under contract each of these weeks. So you can see these heavy reds were over 1,100 contracts pretty much for a month straight, mid-April to mid-May. And we've had some decent weeks where it's been over 1,000 properties. Yeah, you can see the numbers have been kind of dwindling since the week after July 4th. There was over 1,000 properties that did go under contract. Ever since then, we've been struggling to stay above 900, just below it this week at 882. That does represent, let's see, the lowest number of contracts since the second week of January, if I'm reading that correctly. Yeah. So that's a big one. That's something we want to keep eyes on as interest rates remain stubbornly high. As of last check, the average is 7.37% on a 30-year fixed. So that's causing less homes to go under contract, bringing that full circle, 5,800 plus homes on the market any given day with less going to contract, and a steady stream of new listings means we go back to that odds of selling being below 52%. So let's keep going. Closed units, that is such a lagging measure. I tend not to touch on that, but 710 last week. Predictive MSI, this next column here, stands for months supply of inventory. Now, you may have heard me say before, we would have to be in the 4 to 6 month supply range to be in balanced market territory. We'd have to be above 6 months of supply to be in buyer's market territory. So we're still looking at numbers in the basically in the 0.8 to 1.5 range all year long. 1.5 this week. That does represent the high. Well, tied for the high with a couple other weeks this year. So a month and a half worth of supply. All that means is, given the current sales pace, it would take a month and a half for all of those homes that are on the market to sell out if nothing new came on. Okay, skipping over a couple of these, and let's go to total showings. Total showings, you can make an argument that's our number one leading measure into what the real estate market will look like in the next 2 to 4 weeks. So when people are out looking at homes in droves, if you can make the correlation here that more homes go under contract the following weeks. When less people are looking, you guessed it, less contracts. So here we are with 12,550 showings. That's incrementally up over the last couple of weeks. Nothing really to talk about there. So let's just keep going. Pretty steady there. Showings per listing, that's 2.1. So take the total number of showings divided by the total number of listings. 2.1 showings per listing. Now this is interesting. The next column, showings to contract. That's the average number of homes that a buyer sees before going to contract. And you can see we were pretty well in the 11 to 13 range. And now we're up over 14 for the first time, looks like, since, when is that? About late April. So something to keep an eye on there too. Median days on market, just like it sounds, how long are the properties that are going under contract on market before they do so? Crept up to 14 from 13. You can see though, we've been as low as 5 and 6 this year, and that has been going up steadily. So it's taking longer for homes to sell. Even if they're priced well, look great, move-in ready, they still don't necessarily get snapped up in the first week or weekend, although some do. And I've been still seeing homes that are selling to multiple offers and going 10, 15, 25% over the asking price. Okay, this is another one that took a pretty nice leap here at price decreases column. 38.5% of listings last week saw a price reduction. And the average price reduction grew pretty sizably too, by about 10%. Went from 41,000 to 45,000. So that represents a 6.6% price decrease on average. That tells us that sellers are making kind of that final push into the summer before they know that the demand will be lower going into this school year and these fall and winter months that are around the corner. So there you have it. That's what's happening at a deep level in the greater Denver metro real estate market. You can see we have years and years worth of data here. So if you want perspective, you want to dig in deeper on a specific area or your neighborhood, or you just want some guidance on what to do and how to use this data for your own benefit, reach out, send us a DM. We're happy to geek out over these stats with you. Again, I'm Sean Reddy with the Keller Williams Reddy Group. Love to serve you, and take care. Thanks for watching. Oh, and one last thing. If you do like this, make sure to subscribe and hit that notification bell, because we want to spoon feed you this sort of content. Thanks again. Have a great weekend.